Good afternoon, passengers, and welcome back to yet another T Martin Airlines flight. I hope you brought your rain boots, your umbrella, and maybe some ratchet straps, because I don't think your seatbelt's going to save you. We're flying into a hurricane. This right here is Hurricane Laura. This is a Category 4 storm that this evening is going to be bearing down on the coast of kind of like the Texas-Louisiana border. You guys could see she's almost made it there. I think around here is the eye of the storm, so she's moving north, and it's going to be a rough one, honestly. It's not a laughing matter. Like, obviously, we like to hop on this game and have fun and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to flying into a hurricane like an idiot, but it's nothing to joke about. If you guys are down there, I hope you're safe. I plan on donating all the money that this video makes to, like, the Red Cross or something like that. I'll try to find something where that money is actually going to go to those communities and stuff. It's the real deal. It's a big storm. Cat 5 is the highest you can get, so currently Cat 4 may even gain a little bit more speed. We'll see what happens. We'll talk about all this once we get in the plane. I mean, I'm pretty familiar with hurricanes. 40% of all the hurricanes that form in the Atlantic end up hitting Florida, so we get at least a few of these every year. I am no stranger to them, but I've never flown into one. So let's give it a shot. So we're going to be taking off from Houston here. We're in the Dare. Now, I know I've used this thing a few times in the past, but it's a really good little plane, dude. It's, you know, go up to high altitudes very, very fast. It's going to take us about 27 minutes to get out to around where we should be able to find the eye, and it's got good views, reliable. I'm happy with it. So, we're going to see what we can do. It's looking like it's already a little bit rainy here in Houston. Let's go ahead and take our parking brake off. We're going to zoom out a little bit, get us a little bit of height there, since we're a nice tall pilot, and we're gonna take off here. So, yeah, man, I'm honestly, like, I'm kind of sad. I really hope that it doesn't end up being too destructive, although it is looking worse by the minute. You know, I've obviously been following the storm and watching the news, and I don't watch the news, I'm not a boomer, but watching Twitter and watching some of the meteorologists I follow and stuff like that. It's gonna be a bad storm for sure. Go ahead and put our flaps all the way up, landing gear up as well, and away we go. It does look like we have a few blue skies around us, but those are quickly getting eaten up. Oh, that looks so ominous behind us. Man, this would be such a bad idea. So we're going to take a right here. We're going to go south, and we are going to go straight out into the Gulf, and we're going to try to see if we can find this big bad storm and see if we could just kind of get right down into the eye of it. So, Category 4, if you guys don't know, there's actually a really interesting video. I think I'm going to play that in the background that kind of goes through what each of the categories do and what they mean and stuff like that. But like I said, Cat 4 is the second to worst that you can have. And what that means is it's got sustained winds, so winds for a full minute of 130 to 160 miles an hour. Think about winds just full on 130 miles an hour to 160, just constant for that long. Like, think about what that would do to your house. Think about what that would do to trees and power lines and things like that around your area. That's devastating. And of course, with hurricanes, you also have all the rain, you have all the thunderstorms, you have tornadoes being spawned off of them, stuff like that. So there's a lot going on there. But the number one killer, the number one most destructive part of a hurricane is the storm surge. It brings a ton of seawater with it, and they're expecting up to a 15-foot storm surge. So water 15 feet higher than where it is normally could be coming in and hitting this coast. And all those coastal areas, all those coastal homes and neighborhoods and businesses and everything else like that could be potentially completely wiped out. And, if people don't evacuate, sometimes people like to try to risk it. They want to, stay home. They feel like they're going to be able to protect their property and stuff like that. They don't listen to the evacuation orders and stuff. Oftentimes those people die. Dude, this is really, really creepy. So we've got live weather on. This is actually, like, I'm sure it's not 100% precise, but this is actually what's going on currently based on, radar and stuff like that in this area. You can see Houston Airport behind us. Can you imagine trying to fly out into these things in like a little personal plane like this? Obviously they have big planes that go in and take readings and stuff like that, but to try to fly out into a hurricane in a tiny personal plane is a death wish. Take a look at what we're looking at here. I don't really know too much about Texas. Been there a few times. I really like the Austin area a lot, but it looks like we've got some cool water and stuff over here, some sort of a bay. I might head over this way and see if we can just kind of observe. Man, it is just nasty looking clouds all over the place. This is the point where you'd be like, all right, you know what? I kind of regret this decision. Let's do a go around and go back and land. Or, I mean, technically you could just kind of fly up to higher heights. Hurricanes aren't, infinite. You can get up above them. I didn't even think about that. That's gonna be nice. We're gonna try to see if we can get a top-down view of this thing. But I think for right now, I think we stay below the clouds. Let's see these conditions continually get worse. I just want to make this abundantly clear. We're about to fly into a hurricane, so each and every one of you, you're good with that? No qualms. Speak now or forever hold your peace. We're probably all going to be buried in this giant tin coffin, so just be ready for that. Make sure your will and testament are taken care of. We're going to be going out over the Gulf, so you're going to lose your cell service. Make sure you hop on Facebook Live and say goodbye to your family or something, because you're all a bunch of idiots, but we're all in this together. So this is Galveston Bay, I guess. I just looked it up, and then this up here is Trinity Bay. Galveston, Texas is going to be a coastal town here, which, I mean, when you think about it, Galveston is probably going to be absolutely clobbered by this storm. Are they going to have the actual... I don't know if they're going to have the line. I don't know where Louisiana starts, but it's definitely, it's not going to be good. So we're going to head here to Galveston Bay, and we're going to see what we've got going on. Looks like we're starting to get a little bit of rain here. Definitely very ominous. Definitely very terrifying. Now, if you guys don't know, obviously I've got fun facts here for you, so just be ready for this. Pretty much all hurricanes form in the tropics. Hurricanes are fueled by that nice, warm seawater. That nice water that we love to go vacationing, go down to the Bahamas, tan the cheeks a little bit. You know, it feels so good. That water's so blue, it's so nice. Hurricanes like that stuff too, all right? That is where they form. That is what they do. Here's the Bay of Galveston and Trinity and everything else. Oh, look, we got a rainbow. We got a double rainbow. That's beautiful. But they love tropical waters, so you're pretty much always going to find hurricanes forming somewhere near the equator up to like the tropics. But that's kind of the alley that they form in. And most hurricanes that form in the Atlantic actually come from Africa. You need two things. You need warm waters and you need wind. So the winds coming across like the Sahara Desert and stuff blow all the way across Africa. There's some like jet stream or something, I don't even know what it's called, but there's some like funnel of wind that happens, that it comes across Africa. It blows over this set of islands just off the west coast of Africa called Cape Verde or Capo Verde. So that's kind of where they form, right there, just off the coast of Africa. They kind of like, the water evaporates and then condensates up in the air, and it kind of gets that thing going, and then these winds come in and it starts circling and it starts forming all these little mini thunderstorms, and then the wind kind of brings all these mini thunderstorms together and it starts spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. And obviously, you know, there's a long way to travel across the Atlantic with all those warm waters, so it just spins faster and faster and gets more aggressive and more aggressive, and the winds start going up. And once it hits 74 miles an hour, that's when it becomes a hurricane. So before then, it's just kind of like a storm, and then it turns into a tropical system and like a depression, and then it's a tropical storm, and then finally when you hit 74 miles an hour sustained winds, you become a hurricane. Are we sure there's a hurricane here? Because these are nice sunny skies. I guess we're kind of pointed the wrong direction a little bit. She should be somewhere out here, but it's looking really nice. Can I double check? We've got that live weather on. I feel like we're in Game of Thrones right now. You guys see this giant white wall of clouds here in front of us? Oh, that is terrifying. It looks like a nice day, but there's trouble brewing on the horizon here. So yeah, I mean, these storms, they like the really warm water. Most of the ones that affect us here on the East Coast out of the Atlantic end up forming off the coast of Africa. You know, they build their way up all the way across, and then when they start to hit land, like sometimes when they hit some of the Caribbean islands, or if they hit Florida, or if they go into the Gulf, and as soon as they hit land, they start to weaken because they lose that water. That water is like their fuel, that's their gas, that's their, you know, they're getting white girl wasted on that warm water, and as soon as you cut them off, as soon as, you know, it's closing time, the bars turn the lights on, they're like, all right, I'm out of here. They're going to turn into some tiny little storms and kind of dissipate up into the rest of the states. So, you know, places like New York will probably end up getting rain from this Hurricane Laura that's going over Texas, which is kind of interesting. Galveston, Texas. I've never been here, never been on the coast of Texas. I've been obviously through Dallas a lot, mainly just going into the airport and catching connections and stuff like that. I almost lived in Austin. I've spent quite a bit of time in Austin, visited friends, gone to the X Games, that sort of thing. I was gonna move in with some high school buddies in Austin. We ended up buying a house, but then we never lived in it. We sold it, we made money, and it was great. It was awesome. It was a good thing. This looks like a nice little place to live though. Look at all these, nice houses, little grid of streets here right next to the beach. I bet this is pretty nice. Got a Pokeball down there on their field too, whatever that is. Look at that thing. That's pretty sick. Got all kinds of water. Looks like some decent beaches, but it does look like there's a major road right along the beach. They're not really, down there on the left, there's some pretty good beaches. I'm sure it all depends on where you're at, but look at that, dude. We're leaving Texas, and we are headed out into the storm. Now, I don't know, I might have to bring up my app. I think the storm might be a little bit more off to the left here. Can you see the weather? Like, can you bring up a weather map? I don't think you can. I might have to bring up my real-time map. That's so crazy that the weather is actually, like, live in the game. Like, what we're seeing here is what it would actually look like if we were there. It looks like the eye of the storm is directly south of this little pocket. It's probably, if that's Galveston, we probably won't be able to zoom out enough. It's probably somewhere right around here. It's pretty much in line. This is so crazy. It's in line with this one, the third one down. If you took that all the way across and made a T with this, it's gonna be about right here. So it looks like we're heading in a good direction here. Fun fact about the eye, that's kind of the central point of the storm. It's the point that everything rotates around, and they can be anywhere from 2 to 200 miles wide, typically around 30 to 50 miles. But the eye is extremely calm. No wind, no clouds. Oftentimes the sun's just there hanging out if it's daytime, obviously. Like, beautiful day. Seems like nothing's wrong. But then, 10 to 20 miles on each side of you is just absolute destruction. And that eye wall, where the eye meets the rest of the storm, is where the strongest winds are. So, like, you'll get hit by a hurricane and it's like 0 to 100. It kind of slow, like you get the outer bands, and then you start getting stronger and stronger winds and stuff. So it kind of slowly gets worse. And then all of a sudden it's perfect and super nice outside. And then all of a sudden it's really awful again, and then it trails off at the end, which is kind of interesting. That's at least if the storm hits you straight on. Oftentimes you never even see the eye, or it never even gets close to you. So some more facts about hurricanes here. The name hurricane actually comes from a Native American word that stood for evil spirit of the wind, which I thought was kind of cool. We name our tropical cyclones every year here in the US for Atlantic storms and stuff. Right now the name is Laura. And we always start at A at the beginning of every year. So we've been through A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, and now L. Now you guys know your ABCs. But not every single one of those has to be a hurricane. I don't know. I think it's got to reach a certain point. Like, they're not going to name every thunderstorm, obviously, but everything that starts to have a bit of a rotation, maybe it's every tropical storm, maybe it's every tropical depression. At some point early on, they're like, Depression 18L or something like that, and then eventually, when they're strong enough, when they get yoked, they get that full name, which is kind of cool. Now, there are obviously 26 letters in the alphabet. We only use 21 letters to be able to do names, and if we have more than 21 storms, which it's actually kind of it's looking like we might have that this year, it moves on to the Greek alphabet. So if we get past the 21st cyclone of the season, we're going to have Hurricane Alpha, Hurricane Beta, Hurricane Charlie, Hurricane Delta, stuff like that, which is actually, I think that's the military alphabet. What's the Greek alphabet? All right, I sounded really stupid right there. Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, Epsilon, Zeta, Heta, Theta, Iota. Block out them Hetas, baby. If you're a hurricane, do your thing. Don't let anybody tell you you can't blow your winds around. But anyway, yeah, so that's kind of interesting. Names can be retired if they end up being bad enough. Now, the one that everybody's going to know is Hurricane Katrina. We will never have another Hurricane Katrina just because it was so devastating. You never want to associate anything with that again. Another one is Andrew. So my name was actually going to be Andrew. Hurricane Andrew hit Florida in '92, shortly before I was born. It was devastating. One of the worst storms on record, and my mom ended up changing her name. She didn't want to name me Andrew anymore after that happened. So, fun little T. Martin fact for you. The other two that have been at least recently retired, I'm sure there's probably more, are Hurricane Mitch and Hurricane Sandy. So to make sure we're still in line here, so we said if we took this third one and we went under this, it's looking like it's going to be a little bit more to the left. I kind of almost wonder if we should fly up to be able to see it from above, because we're going to be able to recognize it a lot easier. I think we're going to do that. We'll fly up and then we'll go, well, I kind of want to see the conditions get worse and stuff, but to be honest, if we go, let's go down to the sea here. I guess conditions are starting to deteriorate a little bit down here. Ocean's starting to look a little bit angrier. We do have, we've got a patch of blue sky and water off to our left over there. I mean, it all just kind of depends on how you're looking, but we're definitely getting a little bit more cloud coverage. Got some interesting clouds up here in front of us. Dude, this would be terrifying. This would be so scary. Now, the last couple of facts I've got for you guys are some sad ones, and one is a little bit ominous, I'm not gonna lie. Granted, it was a long time ago. So, the deadliest hurricane in U.S. history happened in Texas by a Category 4 hurricane, which is exactly what's about to happen in a few hours. It was back in 1900 though, so obviously the technology wasn't there. The buildings weren't up to the codes they are now. We didn't have the forewarning that we had. Oh, this is getting gnarly. This is so cool. I've always just loved weather so much. This is amazing. But yeah, it came in and it killed more than 8,000 people, which is just crazy to think about. That is so many people to be you know, just perish in a storm. We might perish in this storm if we aren't careful. Our altitude's at about 2,500. Let's try to get underneath these clouds here. Gonna try to bring this thing down. Gonna start to see the water form again. Still no heavy rain or anything. I would imagine, I mean, we're kind of in the storm now. I would imagine we should be seeing a lot of rain and thunder and stuff like that. Maybe we're just now entering it. I don't know. How sick would it be if we could see some like water spouts going by, or man, maybe in Flight Sim 2030 we'll have something like that. But yeah, that was the deadliest hurricane in U.S. history. The most expensive, the costliest, the most devastating, if you're not talking about lives but talking about money, was Hurricane Katrina. Hurricane Katrina cost estimated $108 billion. You know, Louisiana is still not the same. It probably never will be, at least not for a very long time. Tore apart many families, destroyed many livelihoods, homes. Obviously was still very destructive from a loss of life standpoint, but just like from a pure money standpoint, what it cost the city of New Orleans and the state of Louisiana and stuff like that. $108 billion. Got a rainbow coming in here, so that's nice. Double rainbow all the way across the sky. It kind of got a little bit calm in here, I'm not going to lie. We aren't in the eye of the storm, are we? No, there's clouds above us. There's kind of some open air over there, too. Let me see. Let me pull up our map. Second one to there. It looks like we've still got some ground to cover. I'm going to come all the way down to the ground here. Just kind of skirt the top of the water. See what we can see. I can see kind of like little squalls of rain coming across. It's not enough that it's actually like ending up on our windshield. I guess technically there is a little bit down in there coming across, but nothing too crazy. Definitely not like the heavy wind and rain and stuff that you would expect out of a storm of this caliber. Looks like we might want to take a little bit more of a, I mean, we're pretty online. We're definitely starting to get more and more winds. More and more rain, more and more weather, that sort of thing. You can kind of hear, if I'm quiet for a second, over the hum of the engine, you can really hear the wind starting to stir up here, but Seems like we're handling it pretty well. I wouldn't say these are sustained 130 to 160 mile an hour winds, but it's getting there. Okay, dude, now this is a little bit concerning. Where's our altitude at? We're at about 900 feet right now. I have completely lost the water. We were at 1,000. We're dropping back down. Okay, there's the water right there. I don't like getting lost in a sea of gray and not being able to tell where I'm at. I mean, we should just kind of trust our gauges. The plane is definitely starting to look a little crooked here. We're definitely getting a lot more wind happening. Dude, we've got to trust our gauges and hope that our computers aren't off at all, because we're getting little glimpses of the water, but I feel like if we were at the wrong angle, if we were drifting in a bad way, we're not going to be able to recover in time. It's just so interesting, all the little pockets that you have. Like back there, we could hardly see a thing, but now, like, we're kind of in this little pocket. You could kind of see a little bit of blue sky. I don't think we're in the eye, but you know, it's not like one big solid storm. Like they're kind of oddly formed. They're misshapen. They're weird and like, you know, oftentimes it is pretty consistent with rain all the way through, but sometimes you can run into these little pockets where you have little pieces of rain and no more rain and that sort of thing. And that's actually what can get really dangerous, particularly with the eye, and particularly back before we really understood hurricanes and had all the weather reports and radar and stuff like that. It's like people would have this horrible storm come in, they'd hunker down, and then the eye would be above them, and they'd come outside and they'd be like, oh, we're good. Storm's passed. Let's go, you know, clean up the trees that are knocked down. Let's go take care of the yard, take care of the house, that sort of thing. And then the second wave, the backside of the storm comes through, and that's how a lot of people got in trouble. But yeah, it's interesting. We've got all these little squalls. Sometimes there's rain, sometimes there's tons of clouds and no visibility and stuff. Pretty consistent wind at this point. I'm like almost getting a little motion sick just sitting here. Could you imagine if you were in this thing just shaking around all over the place? Now here it seems to have calmed down a bit. I think we're getting close to the eye, or like where it should be in real life. If we go down and we go over. But technically it should be getting worse, if that was true. The closer to the center of the storm you get, the stronger it gets, and then right smack dab in the center is where it's super weak. Technically we could be in the eye here. Maybe it just doesn't have the clear clouds on top. I don't know how the game handles it. We aren't really gonna know until we get up top and we get a bird's eye view, but it's still raining a bit. It's just the weather has calmed down. Plane isn't shaking all over the place. Waves aren't going crazy. I'm gonna go up. We should be getting really close to it. I'm gonna go up. I'm just really curious. You know what I mean? Like I want to see if this game really truly has an eye, or if this is just like a big storm. Like it would be easy for it to just say, "Oh hey, big storm, lots of winds," that sort of thing. But if it actually has like a moving eye and stuff, that's gonna be pretty impressive. Do I expect it to? Probably not. But we're gonna try. What is our climb rate looking like right here? We're I mean you can't tell. You can't see the ground. I mean, we should be using our things. So this is the horizon right here, I believe. I think. Yeah, that back there was the horizon. So we're gonna try climbing here. How high can this thing climb? I know eventually we're gonna get into stall territory. So we probably want to keep it about right here. It is super dangerous to be flying visual flight when you don't really know what's going on with your instruments and stuff. Dude, this is insane. What is that? You guys see all those? What in the? This looks like a different world. I'm just taking in these clouds here. I'm trying to get our. Ooh, that kind of looks like a funnel cloud, does it not? I'm not a cloud expert. I know I probably should be if I'm in aviation here. As a pilot, I should know what all of this means, but I don't. So you guys are gonna have to let me know down in the comments. I'm trying to get our trim right so we can try to get all the way up above the clouds. But dude, this is just so cool. The more I look at it, I wonder if we're looking at the eye wall here, because the clouds and stuff are getting a lot less formed, a lot less put together. Usually, I mean, it's a sign of where the storm's at. If the eye wall isn't super well formed and really easily you know, distinguishable, then that means it's a weakening storm and it's probably going to fizzle out, hopefully, if it can't get to that nice, warm, juicy water that it likes. But, I don't know. We're about to get through this second layer of clouds here. We're at about 15,000 feet currently, so we've still got a lot to go. It's tough because you got to balance going up with your airspeed and everything. It's definitely not easy to climb, but the answers we seek should be on the other side of this cloud that we're going into. Look at this riveting flight simulator gameplay. Even without my new PC, we could run this pretty smoothly. It's just nothing but clouds. Oh, that's kind of pretty behind us. Is that the sun up above us? The sun's up there. Hi, sun. I'm trying to get up to you. I'd really like you to tell me what's going on here. Just gotta keep an eye on our you know, instruments here. Make sure our airspeed's staying good. Make sure our altitude is continuing to go up, because I have no method of seeing what's actually happening. Looks like we've got some icing on the windows. Let's just try to keep this thing straight. Look at that icing, dude. That's pretty insane. All over the wings, all over our windows and stuff. That's not good. You definitely, I mean, it's not awful. You can manage it, but you definitely don't want that. That's perks of flying at high altitudes here. So it looks like, I mean, we're gaining airspeed. Let's go ahead and try to pull up a little bit, see if we can gain a little bit faster. Dude, this is just painstakingly slow to try to get up to the altitude we want. Third thing here, across to that lake. I should be right around here. It should be pretty much right in front of us. I really hope we're going to be able to get to the top of these clouds. If we tried this hard to get to the top of these clouds and we can't make it to the top of the clouds, I'm going to be upset. The tops of a big hurricane can be over 50,000 feet high. Our planes can never get up there. They can only go up to 30,000 feet. Well, it was a valiant effort. All right, we're going to go. I turned off the airplane like hull damage. We're going to go for the strongest dive you've ever seen. We're going straight down. We could probably even do like a reverse loop-de-loop. Oh man, how fast are we going? Nearly 300 knots. Look at our altitude dropping, dude. 1,000 every couple seconds. Our compass is going nuts. We're gonna get back down to the bottom of this thing. If it's the last thing I do, I definitely don't want to crash though. I want to try to stay alive out here. We are headed due south here, and we are lined up with that lake that we've been talking about. The eye should be fairly wide, so if we're gonna see it, we're gonna run into it here. It's gonna happen here pretty quickly. I've been trying to keep an eye out. I just haven't been seeing it. Okay, so wind and visibility has definitely gotten worse down here. I'm not gonna lie. We are flying this plane sideways. Look at this crosswind. Are you kidding me? How? We got about 1,000 feet of altitude right now. I'm trying to get down. We gotta get down. We gotta go down. I'm trying to get down to the water so we can see it. Water comes up really quickly. You gotta watch out for that. So we've got a lot of wind. We've got some pretty big waves and stuff, and visibility is definitely low apart from the sun that we've got up there in the sky. This plane is literally flying sideways, dude. Oh, we okay? We good? Oh, okay. This was not a good idea. 30 miles. 30 miles in diameter is the eye of Laura here, and she never showed it to us, dude. I really wanted to. We definitely put it right on the money where it should be. Now, I don't know if the game doesn't show eyes. I don't know if somehow we potentially missed it. I don't know if maybe the game's eye is a little bit off. Like the game's live weather isn't perfectly live like the weather I'm looking at. Dude, look at these winds. This is crazy. I have no clue what the disconnect is, but we never got to see the eye. I think we might have seen the eye wall when we were up around like 15,000 feet. We saw some really crazy clouds that we've never seen before in any of the other storms and stuff, so that was really cool. It would have been awesome to have like a big open clear area. I don't know. Maybe we passed through it. Maybe we just didn't notice it. You know, maybe it still had some cloud cover. Sometimes eyes can have clouds, but typically they're super clear. But I mean, this thing is definitely not one to be messed with That's for sure. We can hardly... Ooh, it's starting to lighten up a little bit here. What if it gave us the eye right here at the end? I mean, you can't kind of see the setup there. I'm not gonna lie. It's... Of course, as we talk about it, it starts to lighten up a little bit. We've got some blue sky up there. Are we in the eye right now? I'm gonna try to climb up to that blue sky. Blue sky, where are you? Where was it? Okay, I lost it. Got to be careful about our airspeed and about the water because I have no clue where the water is. I have no clue which way is up and which way is down. All right, we still got it. Blue sky, I've already lost. Okay. I mean, no matter what, this is a horrible idea. Pull up. All right. Where's the water? There's the water. We're good. This is just a horrible idea. When you're out here in conditions like this, planes getting jostled around, you take your eye off of the horizon for 1 second, or that horizon disappears into a gray cloud, and, I mean, now you're hardly in control anymore, you know what I mean? This is insane. Looks like the computer's having a hard time down towards the bottom there, rendering everything. But, yeah, there you guys have it. That was flying into a hurricane here in Flight Simulator. Didn't quite get the eye that we would have liked, but honestly, very cool episode nonetheless. I really, really enjoyed that. It was cool to see it go from like a normal day in Galveston, Texas, and you know, then a few miles off the coast, there's a giant storm looming that over the course of this episode has made its way even closer. So again, if you guys are in Texas, if you're near the coast, if you're in Louisiana, stuff like that, please stay safe. Please pay attention to all the rules and warnings and stuff like that. Don't try to be a hero. Take care of your family and your pets and everything like that, and hopefully it's not going to be too bad. So I'm going to see you guys in the next episode. Drop a like if you haven't already. Let me know where we should go next. What should we check out tomorrow? Leave a comment down below. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.